This is Famous in Gravy, biographies from a different point of view. To participate in our opening quiz, email us at hello@famousingravy.com. Now here's the quiz to reveal today's dead celebrity.
This person died 2024, age 96. College students loved her. Campus speaking appearances alone brought in a substantial income. She appeared in ads for cars, soft drinks, shampoo, typewriters, and condoms.
Oh my goodness. I mean, that is a range of products.
And I know it's not Betty White because she lived to be 99.
Is it Cloris Leachman?
Not Cloris Leachman. She had a degree from the Sorbonne. She forged through hard times as an orphan of the Holocaust, and she was a refugee and a fighter in the war for Israeli independence.
It's not Julia Child, is it? No.
Yeah, that clue is not helping as much as the 96 and 2024 is.
The Wall Street Journal described her voice as, quote, something like a cross between Henry Kissinger and a canary.
I'm clueless on that one.
I feel like I know less who this is now than I did before.
At her most popular in the 1980s, she had a syndicated live call-in show on radio and television, wrote a column for a popular magazine, lent her name to a board game and its computer version, and began rolling out guidebooks.
No.
Oh, you're talking about Dr. Ruth?
Yes.
Dr. Ruth!
Yes.
Is it Dr. Ruth?
You already did Dr. Ruth, didn't you?
Dr. Ruth?
Today's dead celebrity is Dr. Ruth.
Oh, no! No!
Is there any magic to finding the right person? Someone says, oh, there's a whole formula to it. Is it simple? Do you find it that way?
It's not simple.
No.
But there's no formula.
Mm-hmm.
And what it has to do is exactly what you and I are doing right now.
Yes.
Look into each other's eyes.
Exactly. Contact.
And listen carefully. Don't just already think about what you're going to have for dinner later.
Mm-hmm.
But listen to that other person and have this openness of saying, I really am interested in that person.
Right.
That will show on your face. It shows on yours.
Yes.
See that? That you are interested in what people bring to you.
Welcome to Famous in Gravy. I'm Michael Osborne.
And I'm Alison Osborne.
And on this show, we choose a famous figure who died in the 21st century, and we take a totally different approach to their biography. What didn't we know? What can we not see clearly? And what does a celebrity's life story teach us about ourselves? Today, Ruth Westheimer, better known as Dr. Ruth, died 2024, age 96. This is a long time coming.
Yes, it is.
It's good to have you
Hi.
here. So if it wasn't clear from the introduction, you're Alison Osborne, my wife.
Correct.
And I've been wanting to have you on the podcast for a long time.
Yeah.
You and I have been in a pretty good run lately over the last, few weeks, months. We just celebrated our 20th anniversary, and you planned a fabulous trip to, North Bend, Washington, outside of Seattle?
Snoqualmie, Washington.
Snoqualmie, yeah. Hot tub, old growth forests, like breath work, and like
waterfalls.
Yeah, like the whole thing was like really romantic and awesome. And then we come home, and then you just got back from a trip to the Esalen Institute in Big Sur. Do you want to say a word about that?
Esalen.
Am I saying that wrong?
No, you're saying it right. I'm just repeating you because I like the word.
Yeah. Well, and the experience.
Yes, Esalen is a nonprofit institute.
Yep.
It is quite literally on the edge of our continent in Big Sur, California.
I always tell people if they've seen the last episode of Mad Men.
That's right.
Yeah.
When they zoom out and you see all those people standing on the edge of
shooting the Coke commercial,
a cliff on the ocean. Yeah, that is actually Big Sur. That is actually Esalen.
Yeah.
But yes, it's right on the edge. It's been around since the 1960s. It's a center for human growth exploration, and you can go and take workshops there, all kinds of things. You name it, they have it. But I just went and did a conscious body movement workshop.
Is that what it's called? Conscious body movement? I've been telling people you're doing a dance thing, like freeform dance.
It is essentially dance, but dance in its most elemental form, I suppose. Free movement. dance. And I spent 5 days dancing in a yurt on a cliff over the ocean.
This tells you a lot about what kind of wife I have. Yeah. No,
Meeting my essence, you know?
I think it's worth saying, like, I mean, you and I went to live music a lot. Like, we've danced, a lot of our relationship. But dance has sort of taken a new level for you recently.
It really has. And it is one of the quickest ways for me to ground myself, to connect with myself. It's joyful. It's oddly emotional. It's cathartic.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. And, I'm midlife. I want to get to know the new me in my midlife. And this is one way I have decided to do that. And it's a really incredible place. And on top of that, I'm in hot springs.
Right. Edge of the continent.
Doing breath work. I'm eating food that's been grown on site, meeting people who are also trying to figure themselves out and in a good place. It's really awesome.
Okay, so that timeline to me is a little bit important. We celebrate 20th anniversary. You take, 5 days to go have this experience. And in all of that, I'm like, I'm trying to tee us up for success.
Yes.
Just because, I've been wanting to have you on the podcast a lot, and your presence looms large on this show. I mean, I talk about you all the time, but I was sort of like, who is going to be the perfect guest? And when we were in Washington, we watched that documentary on Dr. Ruth, and we're like, oh, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And I think we can keep this responsible and sanitized, even though we're talking about a sex therapist today.
That's right.
The last thing I want to say is I love my new rock. My wife brought me a meditation rock. Alison brought me this rock from Esalen.
The palm stone, it's for your palm.
Just beautiful and awesome, and I can't wait to hold it while I meditate. And we're going to imbue this rock with meaning as we record an episode about Dr. Ruth.
About Ruth Westheimer.
Let's just go for it.
Okay.
Category 1, grading the first line of their obituary. Ruth Westheimer, the grandmotherly therapist who, as Dr. Ruth, became America's best-known sex counselor with her frank, funny radio and television programs, died on Friday at her home in Manhattan. She was 96. Initial reactions. What do you think?
So it was okay.
That's kind of where I was. I mean, it's like, all true. Grandmotherly, I kind of lingered on that word a little bit. Best known sex counselor, definitely. We're going to get into that. Frank, funny radio, television. Frank and funny.
All true.
Yeah, but kind of generic and kind of bland for a woman whose impact and whose celebrity. Okay, so I feel like there's two problems at the high level for me, and I'm wondering if this is where you're at too. Problem number one is these are kind of lame words, frank and funny. Come on. And then problem number two for me is I really could have used a hint about the backstory, that everything in her life leading up to her becoming the grandmotherly therapist is incredible. Fascinating, right? And the word unlikely or some synonym, of it's something to just spark a little intrigue. So, fine, accurate, sure. And this is all true, but also kind of disappointing.
Yeah,
that was my reaction. Yeah,
very vanilla.
Did I capture well what your reaction was?
I think you did. I felt like I did have to remind myself. Okay, Alison, you're very enthusiastic about this woman, and you've learned a lot. And the obituary is what do people best know her for? The general populace, right? And so it's not that they said anything not true. They hit some of the highlights, but I feel like they said nothing about her significance.
Yeah,
even of her later, even just as a sex counselor and what that meant. During a time that was pre-internet. Height of the AIDS crisis, all of this stuff happening, and she is grandmother. She is frank and funny, but I would say, even to the general populace, she's small. Yeah. They didn't mention her accent.
Diminutive.
Her joy or humor. They didn't really mention any of that. They did say funny, but
But funny is so bland. If I said I have a friend named Fred and he's funny, that tells you nothing. Right. Kind of peculiarly hilarious. And then I really like the idea of something unlikely here, because one, the events that brought her to us and to, her being on our television were very unlikely. And then that she is this sex counselor who is famous also was like, of all people, you wouldn't have predicted this. And the kind of like serendipity of it all, and her, I just like the journey, it's not hinted at in here. Okay. Can we talk about grandmotherly for a second?
Yes.
Does that feel like the right word to you? I mean, does that feel, I think it is probably good. And I'm stepping on something I love about her, but I do, and this came up in the quiz, I do love that her fame didn't really start until late 40s, 50. As of this recording, I'm 47 years old. Dr. Ruth was 47 when she first went on the radio, and she didn't get her TV show until she was 50. I need these examples.
Yeah, we need these examples.
Oh, I need these examples. I said I'm making it about me. No, but seriously, I was in a conversation with a friend earlier who about my age, and it's like sometimes I feel like I missed the boat on life. That something was supposed to have happened by now. 47 before she steps into the thing that like vaults her to this, experience and status and celebrity. Like, I love that.
I mean, we're hinting at an upward staircase, but like that is
right.
Yeah,
it's so wonderful, and it warms my heart every time I see somebody who, whose rocket ship takes off, not in their 20s. And all of that for me gives me pause with the word grandmotherly. I think she is grandmotherly. I think she does seem like somebody's grandma and is somebody's grandma. But it's kind of the only colorful word for me in this obituary, which is why I wanted to talk about it.
I mean, I don't think it's inaccurate, especially in more recent times. She was very grandmotherly, right? Mm-hmm. When she got started, I definitely take offense that they would say grandmotherly if she was 50.
About a 50, yeah. That's ageist, yeah.
But I think the juxtaposition...
Somebody's Pastor Prem. Yeah.
I think the juxtaposition of grandmotherly sex therapist was her secret sauce.
Yeah.
So I think if you get those two together...
I'm 4'7". I am not shrinking, and I can't permit myself to shrink. Otherwise, you are not going to see me. You are only going to hear me. Anybody here who has a partner, tonight, a different position.
So why didn't they say grandmotherly sex therapist? I mean, it says grandmotherly therapist, and then best known as a sex counselor. Like, they separated out. The more I look at this, the more frustrated I am with it. I needed 15 pieces of flair here, and I got nothing,
Yeah.
So, I had an initial score. Do you have a score?
I went with 6.
Okay, that's where I was at. I had initially went 7. I'm going 6. It's accurate and true.
Right.
I just sort of, and the rest of the obituary does capture all this stuff we're talking about. So the author knew it. They just didn't put the extra effort into...
No weighty words. No words that hinted at things beneath.
As first lines go, it's disappointing, right? As first lines go, I wanted more, even though all of this is right, and they did their job. What do you think of somebody who only does the bare minimum? I give them a 6. That's what I do. All right, 6 is 6. 6, we agree. Mm-hmm. Let's move on. Category 2, 5 things I love about you. 5 things I love about you. Here, Alison and I develop a list of 5 things that will offer a different angle on who this person was and how they lived. Kick us off, honey.
Okay. I'm going to start with one that I feel strongly about, but I also think is just the right thing to start with, is that I would use the term, and I saw it written about her, radical normalization of sexual health and sexual experience.
Yeah, like right out of the gate, we got to go with the obvious.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because it was a big deal. And I think you have to pause for a second and think about the timing. Mostly maybe late 70s, but 80s.
Yeah.
This is when she started. This is pre-internet. And she is helping people understand themselves sexually, answer hard questions. And I mean, really imagine, like, pre-internet, if you had questions about what's going on with me normal, right? Or fears about, is my thinking normal or my desires normal, things like that. You would have to be brave enough to go into a library.
Yeah.
or a bookstore and physically buy this book that might answer it or might not, right? Especially if it's a niche type thing. And that's really it. Or talk to somebody, but who are you going to talk to?
I mean, I think what you're speaking to is the stigma we had and the discomfort we had.
Plus, there was more stigma then. But on top of that, you had to be, that's how you had to find information. Now, I can start to Google something. Not only will it give me results that I can go read and understand better to like really, complex or detailed, things you might be interested in. But
or
also
even normal questions, though. That's the thing, is that questions that are we now consider normal. Like, it doesn't even have to be you have some peculiarity. Even like the run-of-the-mill, dysfunction or hang-ups or, I've run into this problem with my partner kind of stuff.
Well, right? And we have the beauty of even Google search autofill, right? You start to ask this question that's concerning you, it will autofill it, and you're like, other people have Googled this too. You know what I mean? Like, there's this feeling of, okay, this is a normal thing.
Right, pressure release valve.
All before that, right? So the significance of her talking about it, it was the height of the AIDS crisis when there was a lot of misinformation.
Yes.
Unafraid to discuss difficult subjects, she was one of the first people to use her platform to address the AIDS epidemic.
It was a very unpopular topic because gay people at the time, not only were they a minority, they were despised.
She refused to stigmatize people with AIDS and instead tried to educate her viewers about both HIV and homosexuality.
Some people are attracted to members of their own sex. And I believe strongly that we as a society have to give these people all the respect.
It seems the high proportion of people who are dying and succumbing to the AIDS virus are still in the homosexual community, intravenous drug users.
I don't waste a moment of my time to blame one or another group. I say, let's educate and let's find a cure.
This actually gets to my number 2 to some extent. But I don't want to move on to that because I think misinformation as well as prejudice against the gay community and LGBTQ community or whatever.
Okay, well then I'll skip over that, but I'll say one more thing to this is that I think her grandmotherliness was where this really made an impact because, I mean, we have this conversation about grandmother approved, right? It's like a marketing trope. It's what I mean? Yeah. And having somebody that looks like your grandmother normalizing something sexual that you're asking about, is going to give you so much comfort or you know what I mean?
No, I think it actually, I'll put it a different way, and I hope I'm not sticking my foot in my mouth here. You wouldn't look at her and think sexual being. No. Right? She's 4'7", smiles a lot, acts like grandmotherly, hair, and that she is very comfortably talking about anatomy and problems and like just using the language of sex. To this day, you're sort of like, okay. I mean, it's a reminder that we're all sexual beings, right? And I think that part of the normalization of the conversation that she brought is that we tend to look at people who are beautiful and who are like, who either objectify or who are like gunning to be objectified, right? And we all kind of fall prey to this. And I mean, her point is like, well, we're all sexual beings, and that is embodied in her, stature, like literal size and funny voice is all like, it just makes it just releases so much pressure, to your point. Okay, I love that. That's a strong number 1. It's very close to my number 2. I wrote scientists who lived long enough to say I told you so, because I think that there's a lot of, I think a lot of scientists are like this. Once upon a time, I studied, I was a scientist myself once upon a time. And I sometimes think that all the climate scientists in the world are kind of like, they don't really think this, but they're sort of like, decades from now, we'll be able to say, I told you so. They don't really want to say that.
That feel good.
But no, it would not. But it is important that history catches up with science and that the rest of society comes to a place where like, oh, this person understood this from a data-driven, research-driven perspective. And I feel like she's on top of that very early on, and that history vindicates her willingness to, one, talk about any kind of like sexual dysfunction, but and as well as like taboo topics like masturbation, but also, especially, and this is where it relates to the AIDS crisis, like consenting adults, it's okay, right? And that we need to not have all these hangups around it. Which, what's so funny about her to me in some ways is that in so many other ways, she looks really sort of buttoned up and conservative. Not exactly, but like, I mean, if I was thinking about this, if her specialty was sports medicine, right? It would not be like, we would not remember her necessarily, right? It would just be like,
it's that
if she's talking about what athletes do, it is that, like, everything else about her is pretty conventional and comfortable and feels like, the kind of like, it carries a sort of expertise stature with it that I feel like, okay, we're just gonna talk about this otherwise taboo topic, and in doing so, expose how ridiculous all our hangups are about it. But I also
love that.
Yeah. But I don't know. Most everybody seems pretty on board with an attitude that she was bringing to the airwaves in the 1970s and the 1980s.
Way ahead.
So it's a different angle on your number two.
Yeah. What did she say? What goes on privately behind closed doors between consensual adults is normal.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you got for number three?
Good one.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to go with soda pop energy.
Oh.
And I had to use soda pop because our kids are into K-pop Demon Hunters, and that's just on the mind. But several people described her energy as fizzy.
Yeah.
And I definitely felt that when we watched her documentary, her most recent documentary.
She's charismatic.
Oh my gosh. I mean, she is so full of joyful energy, enthusiasm, joie de vivre, like whatever you want to call it. It just exudes out of her.
Yeah.
Every like tiny millimeter of her.
She finishes every sentence with a smile. Yeah. Every sentence is, and like, it's the most like, it just like makes you like charming. It's so unbelievably charming.
Unbelievably charming.
Yeah.
But it's not all, I mean, I'm sure she turns it on, right?
Yeah.
She had a TV personality. She was good at that. But like, you sense that it's real. Her joy is real.
Yes.
And when the camera crew was following her around for that documentary, they're following her in a field in Switzerland because they're revisiting
her childhood
orphanage, right? It was a hard time for her. They're walking through this field, and she literally looks over and it's like, oh, a cow! Like, she's just so excited to see it, and then she's like pointing out this rainbow, and like, she's just so present and taking joy in the life in front of her. And she walked fast, she befriended everyone, she played chess with her grandkids in her 90s. I mean, she was just full of energy and joy, and I was so captivated by it.
A lot of people call me, and many young people call because they have questions about contraceptives. And you know what I say? I say women, all women out there, if they think that they might be sexually active, should carry condoms in their pocketbooks. Did you know that they come in all colors? They can be matched to a pocketbook. And then I tell the guy to put a condom over his finger and to scratch his finger with his hand to show that it really, the sensation is still there. Because very often men say, I'm not going to take a condom. A condom is like taking a shower with a raincoat on.
Can I just say something? This is what I love about you too. I mean, not all the time. You and I both know it's not like...
Not always.
No, not always. But like you, I'll never forget when we were living in California. We had just met Matt and Eve ran into you coming out of the office, and she's like, oh, she's just this ray of sunshine. It was the first time I'd heard that phrase. You are a ray of sunshine. Aww. And Dr. Ruth is a ray of sunshine too.
Definitely.
Like, there is there is a like, just wonderful vibes around her. So I think, so how did you phrase this?
Well, that's the best compliment you can give me then, because I'm so attracted to that in her. And
I think you cultivate that too. I think she cultivated
soda pop energy. I don't know if that's the best thing. Joie de vivre. I mean, joie de vivre is really the essence there, right?
I think, but I like fizzy though too. I like bubbly. I mean, I like a kind of like I like not just charming, but with like an energetic, undercurrent. Sort of like. Something electric underneath.
Yeah. And it's how she chooses to react to the world, to be in the world. Like she's got a lot of personal tragedy. We'll get to that. But she's chosen that path and it's authentic. It feels authentic.
I think I'm going to get to it now with my thing number 4. I wrote she was I'm going to drop an F-bomb. She was a fucking sniper. So we haven't talked about it yet, and I feel like we've got to tell the at least short version of her backstory. It may come up again. Yeah. So she was an only child in Germany. Her parents got her out. Her dad was sort of insistent on it, and she wound up in a home that ended up being an orphanage in Switzerland. Where
it was part of the Kindertransport.
Right.
So where they actually moved children into other countries from Germany.
Right. And she, at the end of the war, learned that her parents had died. I mean, there was a day where they were saying who survived and her parents' name was not called. So she...
Well, and she had sensed it. Sorry, but this broke my heart. Like she's in this orphanage away from all of her family, who she was very close to. She had a very tight-knit family, and is exchanging letters with them over time, and then the letters stop. Like that, I mean, they just stop.
So, okay, and in that orphanage, takes an interest in books, becomes self-educated in many, many ways. She's an intellectually curious person. Eventually makes it to what is now Israel. It was Palestine at the time. It was before the country was founded. And she was recruited to be a sniper. And she would say, I am an unbelievable shot. Apparently, she never experienced combat, but she did. She was in, what was it, like a girls' dorm that was bombed, where she almost lost her feet. And then it's around that time, I think she marries her first husband, and then they wind up in Paris, and she goes to the Sorbonne, where she did not have a degree, but was able to finagle her way in. Uh-huh. Yeah, and then eventually makes it, whatever. I mean, eventually makes it over to the U.S., and then takes an interest in, I think she's working on Planned Parenthood, whatever. All of this is captured for me in fucking Sniper.
She's a sniper. 4 foot 7 inch sniper.
Right. Like, what? Soldier, dude. Like, oh my God.
Soldier.
And there's something about the fact that, like, she's bullseye that is like, that there is a directness to her, I kind of feel like she carries that sniper, because this is the thing about when you hear her advice,
it's the heart of the matter,
Totally. Yeah. When you hear her advice, it's not all that complicated. Most of the time she's like, no, maybe just get to the point, it's like honing in on the target. And so Sniper. I wanted to use Sniper to bring up her backstory a little bit, but I actually think in a way it becomes a metaphor in her life for what like her advice is all about. It's targeted.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a better way of putting it. All right. So what do you got for number 5?
Okay. So it's close cousins to the one I did before, but it is about how, the other one I feel like I said in terms of her soda pop energy is about how she chooses to deal with the world. This is more how she chooses to interact with others. And she's a flirt.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I don't mean that she's sexual with other people.
No,
I mean, she's playful.
Yeah.
She's playful.
Yeah.
And she's decided to interact with people in a playful way. And I just love it. It's so fun to watch her. Like, you can't stop watching her on screen, because whoever she's talking to, she's playing with them.
She's magnetic.
Yeah, totally, she's playing with them. She's trying to, and it's a level of interacting with people that's below ideology, it's below politics, it's below class. You know what I mean? It's like, let me connect to your playfulness.
Right.
Let me connect to you on this level. Let me get, you know what I mean? And when you do that, and that's sexuality is too, right? And so I I love that about her. And I mean, she held hands with everybody. She like kissed people on the cheek. She would ask if they'd eaten anything. She befriended her drivers. She befriended her doorman. They loved her. The guy who did the documentary on her, they became best friends. Like she would she maxed out his voicemail box.
Yeah, right.
She'd call him every day and check on him. Like, I mean, she was a flirty love,
And so much of her, like what she brings, does seem conscious. It does seem like a choice. You know what I mean? Like she does seem like to have decided to be joyful and to decided to be a humanitarian and so forth.
Yeah.
And I think some of that is built on trauma. But
yes.
But what better use of that traumatic history than there's a lot of like you only live once attitude.
You only live once.
About her.
Joy, bring presence.
Yeah.
Don't dwell on the past. I think that was very much her philosophy.
Yeah.
But playful.
Awesome list. Let's recap. So number 1, you said
radical normalization, sexual health.
Number 2, I said scientist who lived long enough to say I told you so. Number 3, you said
soda pop energy.
Soda pop. I like fizzy.
She's fizzy. Joie de vivre. Whatever.
Fizzy. Joie de vivre. Number 4, fucking sniper. And then 5, you said
he's a flirt.
A flirt. Awesome list. All right, let's take a break. All right, category 3, one love. In this category, Alison and I will each choose one word or phrase that characterizes Dr. Ruth's loving relationships. First, we'll review the data. So, 3 marriages. She married an Israeli soldier and physician, David, in 1950. She was about 21, 22 years old. They moved to Paris together, divorced in 55. She was about 26, 27 when they divorced. Second marriage, a Frenchman named Dan Baumer in the mid-1950s. She was probably 28, 29. They moved to New York together. Their daughter, Miriam, was born during this marriage. It ended in divorce in the late 50s, early 60s. A little hard to pin it down when she was about 30, 32. Then finally, she married she married Manfred. I like the name Manfred. Fred Westheimer in 1961. She's 33 years old, and this was the defining relationship of her life. Fred adopted Miriam, and they then had a son, Joel, and then remained married for 36 years until Fred's death in 1997. She was 69 when Fred died, and then lived the rest of her life single. Didn't marry again.
Flirty.
Single and flirty. So 2 children, and then a bunch of grandkids. What'd you have here? I actually found this kind of hard.
Yeah, I struggled with it, and I decided to simplify in terms of what I went with. Yeah. I just went with that she had one grand love, long-term love, which is, to me, something very...
Are you into that?
Yeah, I'm into that. Aren't you?
Is that something that appeals to you, or are you the kind of like, want to mix it up a little bit?
Gosh, yeah. I think that's a important life experience, So I said one love to rule them all. I thought maybe it was appropriate, the Lord of the Rings, given, the hobbits, the goblins, what have you.
Yeah,
but
sure. She does have fantasy novel vibes around her, right? There's definitely, I like that. One loves to rule them all. I mean, we know what the story is, but we really don't know what the story is. It's not clear why those first 2 marriages didn't take. And I found them a little bit surprising. But this is kind of the boundary drawing thing.
She called them legalized love affairs.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Marriages.
And it seems like more marriages than you would think for somebody who's otherwise conservative. But I like one love to rule them all. And I like the fantasy novel thing. I was thinking in the same direction. I started to say they're always after me, Lucky Charms, but she's not Irish, she's German. So because there is a little bit of a like leprechaun thing, but she's not a leprechaun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like she does seem like a figure out of a fantasy novel, 4'7", and the way she like trots around too. So the walk is so like
the giggle. She's a giggle.
She has a she's a giggler.
Great giggle.
All right, so I went with The Gingerbread House from Hansel and Gretel. know.
Let's expound on that.
Well, I don't know if this metaphor really holds up. I was thinking she's German, so I was thinking about German fairy tales. I was also thinking about actually the boundaries and what we do and do not know. That you look at it, you look at a gingerbread house, and it looks tasty. And it's like, oh, I'm kind of hungry. I'd like to have, but do I actually want to take it apart and eat it? And what's going on inside?
Are you telling me Dr.
Really
Ruth
know.
looks tasty?
No, I'm saying no. I'm saying that the first impression of what she offers, in terms of the life that's put together, on the surface, it looks like, oh, that's a nice gingerbread house. Again, the metaphor may really fall apart, but
grandmotherly, if you will.
The longer I look at it,
baking is happening.
The more questions I have.
They're known for not actually tasting that good.
I'm not trying to offer commentary on what kind of wife, mother, or anything like that she was, but what I am, I think what I'm really mostly trying to point to is mystery. I think I am sort of satisfied with how much I know about her life and the events. I do think that part of her public narrative is cultivated and is conscious, that she tells you what the story is and then she doesn't tell you, necessarily deeper story. So I think she's even drawing boundaries. I mean, she's really drawing boundaries as a celebrity such as she is. I don't feel hungry for more, and maybe that's the gingerbread point, is that I actually ultimately, it's like, that's a nice looking thing. I don't know if I need, I'm not hungry to devour it.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
I think a little bit of a reach.
I like that.
Okay.
I like that.
And I love that we both are kind of dancing around fantasy fairy tale figures. I mean, it's sort of hard not to with her.
Yeah.
Okay, category 4, net worth. In this category, we will guess the net worth of Dr. Ruth. The results are sourced from the website celebritynetworth.com. Take that for what it's worth. We're going to write down our numbers ahead of time before we will reveal, and finally we'll place Dr. Ruth on the Famous and Gravy net worth leaderboard. I'll just say, I think she's secretly loaded. I think she's loaded. Where that's coming from is, one, syndicated TV. The history of Famous and Gravy tells me that if you are on syndicated TV, you've done pretty well. Second, crazy prolific as an author. I mean, she's got like dozens of books, including Sex for Dummies, right?
Yeah.
I think that she, you put her name on a book and people just grab it at the airport without thinking too much of it.
Well, and lots of commercials.
I also think that I do, this is the thing I actually thought about saying I love about her. I love that she never moved from her New York apartment.
I was going to bring that up.
Yeah. It's so, that she's in community and I don't need to be anywhere else. I don't need the,
small 2-bedroom apartment in Washington Heights, right?
I don't know. You know New York better than I do, but... you would have thought, and apparently friends were encouraging.
Once you pointed out it was rent controlled.
Right. And it's welcoming. It's great. And she's satisfied with that. So I think she's
lived beneath her means for sure.
Sneaky wealthy. I also think she is diligent about her finances. That was the impression I got.
I can see that.
So
I think the thing that would weigh against it would be books don't make much money. But again, you said syndication. And I would also say that she did not reach fame until much later in life.
All the more reason for that actually weighs in my favor, I think, because I think she's at a place in life where she's smart about money. So I went with a high number. Should we go ahead and reveal?
Yeah.
All right. Alison Osborne wrote down $15 million.
Sure did. Okay. Judging by your face, you went hard.
Higher.
Okay. Michael Osborne wrote $150 million. Add a zero.
Order of magnitude.
Wow.
Okay. That was way over. At the time of her death, estimated net worth of approximately $3 to $4 million.
No.
Hang on, let's just check that.
I'm
$4
offended
million.
by that.
I am too.
It's fine, but that seems strange.
I was way off. Samsonite. Okay, I probably should retire
Ever the
this
optimist,
category.
my love.
Yeah. Well, you're a lot closer, honey.
Yeah.
Exactly. But
yeah. I thought about 10. Yeah.
Well, at $4 million, this is interesting. So let's go ahead and place her on the Famous and Gravy Net Worth leaderboard. So at $4 million, there's one other person with that number, Nelson Mandela.
Really?
Dr. Ruth and Nelson Mandela.
So you can give him some sex advice over dinner, over canapes.
I'm sorry, that is the dinner table I'd want to be at. This does place her in the.
Oh, I want to be at her dinner
quartile.
table for sure.
Oh yeah. And that's it. She's above Jerry Jeff Walker, Burt Reynolds, Norm Macdonald, Waylon Jennings, Larry McMurtry, Biz Markie, Bushwick Bill, and Diego Maradona.
Okay.
Let's move on. Category 5, Malkovich, or Tiny Trophy. This category, a little bit of a change up. You can either choose a trophy, an award, or a cameo, or an impersonation, some other form of a hat tip. That's the Tiny Trophy. Or you can choose a Malkovich moment. That is named after the movie Being John Malkovich, in which you can take a little portal into somebody's mind and have a front row seat to one of their experiences. What did you go with here? This was hard, I thought.
Yeah, there weren't a lot of things, but I did remember that she was in a Herbal Essence shampoo commercial.
Really?
Yes, and they were cut in the 90s, and they were famous. I should have watched it right before this so I can recollect, but it's it's an organic experience. Organic, get it? And so it's like, oh, yes. People washing their hair and doing all this stuff. And Dr. Ruth did that commercial.
Stop by aisle 5 for Clairol's Herbal Essences. It takes you where no shampoo has
gone before, with all natural botanicals and organic herbs in pure mountain water. It will leave your hair looking beautiful.
Yes! Yes! If you think that's great, try the body wash.
Clairol's Herbal Essences, a totally organic experience.
Of all
Pretty
things,
awesome.
I can't believe we're at only 4
I
million
still
with
use
the
Herbal
commercial.
Essences sometimes.
Is that
so
right?
I mean,
Is that because of that?
Yeah, it had longevity.
That's good. I love that. I actually went with, she was in an episode of Quantum Leap. I love the TV show Quantum Leap. Did you ever watch Quantum Leap?
Yes.
So, Sam Beckett is
He traveled in time?
Well, kind of. He was traveling into other people's bodies. And so there's a scene with her and Dean Stockwell's character who was communicating with Ziggy all the time. So I like that she showed up on Quantum Leap. All right, let's take one more break.
Okay.
Okay, category 6, words to live by. In this category, Alison and I will each choose a quote. These are either words that came out of this person's mouth or was said about them. There's a lot in a way. I mean, if you scour all the advice she gave over the years and place it in context, there's a lot of good advice that are words to live by. It's funny, you and I haven't really talked much about her sex advice.
Yeah.
So far in this conversation?
Yeah.
Should we? Are we supposed to? Let's keep this,
Well, I mean, the one thing I haven't said about it is, other than just the significance of it, right? Is she really did also talk a lot about female pleasure.
Yeah.
Which, was a non-topic for so long. And now is a huge topic, right?
Yeah.
So that's just worth calling out, I think.
Is that what you were thinking about as you were looking for words to live by?
A little bit.
What did you go with?
So my quote is, the most important 6 inches are the ones between the ears.
It's very good.
Yes.
Yeah, that's very good.
It's very Dr. Ruth, because it's some fun and humor there, with the innuendo, but it's also just so straightforward.
Yeah.
Everything starts
the brain
in the brain. Everything starts, and especially if, you say that for women. I think it's true for either, but it starts in your brain.
Yeah.
It starts way before the physical. So I like it.
That's interesting to hear you say that, because your love language is touch. And if you and I are fighting, I'm like, well, how about I just start tickling your arm or like a hug? I don't do that. I should more.
Yes. But that's my feeling cared for love language. That's not my sexual language.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. This is valuable information.
Let's just stop at that level. But
No. I mean, I'm like, that's good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, that's very helpful.
20 years still learning things, you know?
I mean, actually, you say that jokingly, but I think that that's one of the things I love about Dr. Ruth being this grandmotherly figure. She's not just talking to people, just college students or in their 20s, 30s, or 40s. Like, this is a journey. Life is a journey, especially as we age.
Yeah, she talked a lot about what it meant to be passionate and practical, being sexual in your later decades of life.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to have to figure that out. But I'm here for that.
What is it? Definitely after a night's sleep, not at the end of the day?
Yeah, no, look, I think there's a lot
That's true now.
There's a lot of considerations on the table, but actually, you saying the most important 6 inches are the ones between your brain is very helpful for me, your husband, to hear. These are indeed words to live by.
Foreplay starts way before the bedroom. I mean, that's just another way of saying that, right?
No, I mean, look, I need to continue to be educated, and I'm open to that. I'm here for this. All right, interesting. I actually had, in a way, a similar quote, but very different. It's not about sex. She said, "The most important thing for my father was learning, because nobody can take that away from you." This hit me for a couple of reasons. One, I think that, for a girl who was separated from her parents at this young age.
Everything taken away from her.
Everything taken away.
Not just parents, grandparents, cousins, everything.
Family. Really, her life was completely severed from any kind of connection. But that she learned that from her father. One, I connect with that. I do feel like my parents and my dad in particular.
They really take that seriously.
I mean,
same with mine.
Yeah, very much. But, I mean, that story about before I did a gap year, right? I'm sure I told you this. Well, I'll tell it again because I think it's helpful. So I was a rebellious teenager. I barely graduated high school. And I did a gap year, and I did some travel, and before I set off on an adventure, I'll never forget my dad saying, "Michael, when you were young, you were this very, very curious boy, and I don't know what happened to that. I don't know why you lost your curiosity, but I hope you can find that again. I hope you can get in touch with that." That's what I hear here. Nobody can take that away from you. Nobody can take your curiosity away from you. And what I feel like my parents, but my dad especially, gave me was the kind of prompt that if you learn to love learning, right? If you learn to love learning, if you learn to love just the experience of, I don't know this, and I like learning new information. And stand in touch with your curiosity, then nobody can take that away from you.
Nope.
Nobody can take that away from you. And I thought, this is beautiful.
And the places it will take you. I mean, look at her at 96, creating a new job for herself.
1,000%.
Because she decided, I don't want to answer questions about sex anymore. People are lonely, And she appointed herself the ambassador to loneliness for the state of New York.
Totally. Yeah, that's right. That was an official thing, right? She's very preoccupied with the loneliness epidemic in the later years.
People need that first,
Yeah, she never retired. Still can't believe she only got $4 million. Yeah.
Well, and one thing around the education piece that, we haven't talked about, and it was very impressive. You were saying she really focused on education when she was at the orphanage. They didn't let girls go to high school. Yeah. They had to have housekeeping training.
Right.
And so she had her first love would crawl in through the window of her room with his textbooks and hide under the bed. I guess he didn't want to sneak back in and out.
That guy in the documentary is so unbelievably charming.
Oh my goodness.
Two of them are
she is flirting with him so hard with his wife standing right in the corner.
Well, and he's got
hearing aids in, and it's precious. But what did she say? I can still remember what your kiss tasted like.
Yeah.
She studied. Just on her own. She taught herself in the middle of the night while
she's reading books, and she's reading the books that only the boys had access to.
Mm-hmm. And I was really that's determination.
Her self-education is incredible, and I always admire anybody who just takes it upon themselves to read and get smart, especially before the internet, who was at home in a library.
And keep going. I mean, a PhD in her 40s.
Right, exactly.
Amazing, yeah.
category 7, man in the mirror. This category asks a fairly simple question. Did this person like their reflection, yes or no? This is not a question about beauty, but rather a question of self-confidence versus self-judgment.
Oh, 100%.
That's where I was at. Loved it. See, I think she enjoyed being 4'7".
Oh, I know she did.
Yeah. I mean, she.
I think I might enjoy being 4'7". Maybe not my whole life, just for a little bit.
But I think one, it had people underestimate her, and so it was a bit of a superpower. I just see confidence. I mean, it's not that complicated.
And acceptance.
Ultimately. Yeah.
Because she's not traditionally pretty by any means.
Right.
Really in any phase of life.
Right.
Any picture I've seen. But she has this humor, this fizziness, this fun sense of fun to her that is very attractive.
All right, so we both went confident yes. She liked her reflection in the mirror.
Yeah, in fact, she said at one point she had all these doll houses as an adult in her house. And she said on camera, I love anything that is small and perfect like me.
Yeah, it's really sweet.
And she didn't say it like in an arrogant way.
Yeah,
it was just like,
Category 8, cocktail, coffee, or cannabis. This is where we ask, which one would we most want to do with our dead celebrity?
I definitely narrowed it on it pretty quickly.
Okay.
Cannabis.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. Because I want to giggle and eat good food with her.
Yeah.
It's that easy. She was passionate about food, just like with, it's a cow, it's a rainbow. She'd be like, this is delicious, always, right?
Yeah.
And she giggled and she was funny and she connected on a playful way. And I feel like that's what I liked about my experiences.
So it's energy, it's vibes, it's, the
just
hang.
have fun with her, connect with her in a playful way. That's all I want to do,
I love that. And connecting via play. I went coffee, and I've got a specific scene in mind. I'd like to have coffee in that apartment that she was in for forever. And I'm not even, I don't want strong coffee. I want, it's almost more like tea. I think that there's a real intellect there. I think that she's a really smart woman, and I would love to have a wide-ranging conversation about. I'd like to keep it actually at the. I am interested in talking about, sexuality. Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's kind of how I view therapy overall. Whether or not you say I have a problem, it's almost always beneficial.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I also, I feel like there is a way of thinking that cuts across every bit of advice she ever gave, that there are fundamentals and guiding principles that maybe I know at this point, and maybe it is about self-acceptance, as well as, being mindful of where pockets of shame may exist, because we bring that.
Yeah.
But I think I want to kind of learn first principles from her.
Well, you saying that cuts across. The other quote I almost went with is, respect is non-negotiable. And I
Jesus,
really,
that's good.
I know. I mean, that she came at life that way as someone who came from a group of people who were incredibly mistreated, to put it mildly, right?
Yeah, right. The Holocaust survivor.
The respect is non-negotiable to your fellow humans, and she felt that way about homosexuals during the HIV/AIDS crisis, and that you should come at this advice with respect. That's just non-negotiable. We're all human. We all have these questions.
Never heard that before. That's really good.
Isn't that nice? Yeah.
It's very hard to practice that. Yeah. We judge people a lot. I judge people a lot. I mean, and especially in the wrong mood. I have to be, and these things are related to me. I have to be joyful in order to have a respect as non-negotiable worldview.
Do you have to be playful? Do you have to be connecting underneath?
Maybe. I mean, I tend to, I think this, can get me in an uninhibited mood, but I got to get myself there. I have walls. I have my own whatever.
It's funny. I think of you as somebody who's very open.
I think you bring out an openness in me. And I think I think I'm open when it comes to somebody's humanity, but playful is not as easy for me. You just came back from this dance retreat. Dance is uncomfortable for me. I used to have to get hammered to dance, right?
Yeah.
Now
I think most people feel that
on
way.
the occasions when we dance, I do love it. It does lower inhibitions, but there's definitely a moment of hesitation, self-consciousness, self-awareness that I'm up against. And that has a relationship with sexuality in a big way.
Dance imitates life.
Yeah. I mean, so I think this idea of, respect is non-negotiable.
It makes me feel like she was a really good parent. You know what I mean?
You get that vibe from the kids in the
they loved her,
documentary.
her
They
grandkids,
really
her
come
kids.
like they're bright and like they come across great.
They did. I really liked them, and they clearly just have such high regard for her.
So did the grandkids, where they were. Like everybody in the family seemed to like charmed in the same way all of us are. Which I'd like to think that's reality. All right, I think we've arrived. Okay, I'm going to make an executive decision. I had been calling this category the case for the upward staircase. I think we just need to go back to pitch at the pearly gates. I think that's what this category is all about. Not that the pearly gates are real or they're a stand-in for the afterlife when we send somebody's soul into the universe. But I do think that we should use this category to pitch, like, this is why this was a meaningful life. And this is why there's value. And this is, even desirability in this life. Not a hard case in a way. I mean, if I were to mount the argument, Alison, I guess I'd start with courage.
Yeah.
I feel like there is a willingness to put yourself out there, to be the one who breaks the icy conversation and breaks taboos and says, no, we can and should talk about this because we all are dealing with our own sexual identities on the inside. And if we make these conversations public, then we become significantly less self-judgment, like more self-compassionate.
Yeah. No place for shame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, that is something I want to contribute to the stream of life. I want everybody to feel validated and loved and not ashamed and not hung up for whatever reason they may be, whatever your, interests or desires are.
Yeah.
We happen to be talking about sex, but that goes way beyond that.
Yes. Way beyond that.
What else? Like, what else is like part of the pitch here if we're sort of mounting the argument for St. Peter?
I think she helped people accept themselves for who they are, who they were, who they are. And she did it in a way that was with respect and with humor and was direct, and that she came from so much personal tragedy and hardship. I've thought about her story so many times, the losing everything at 10 years old, everything your whole family. And then at 17, realizing she has no family and just being shipped to a foreign land, right? To Palestine and having to just make her own way. She had nothing,
What about desirability, though?
Desirability? No, I learned so much. I feel like...
What do you want to take home,
I think I said it in those 5 things, like her joie de vivre, her fizziness, her energy and her playfulness and her continuing curiosity that kept her going until 96. If that is what the latter half of my life could be, then I'm excited for it.
Are we on track?
I hope so.
But do you think we are?
I just spent a week dancing on the edge of the world, trying to feel my own essence. It's new for me, you know what I mean? That's tackling something new.
I think you are. I think you are. I don't know. I was thinking about, I was thinking about our long history, which is,
26 years together.
Yeah, that's a long time. I love that you're getting emotional here.
Emotional.
In the early days of the show, Amit and I would talk a lot about, this is my favorite adage around marriage, that love is not about gazing into each other's eyes. Love is about growing forward in the same direction, gazing forward in the same direction. So I do think that these qualities of curiosity and joie de vivre and fizziness and playfulness and self-compassion have always been in you and with you, and I see them evolving and growing and finding new expression, with our kids and our sex life. And it's okay. and then in you as an individual, like your ability to spend time with yourself, has grown to a new level. So I do see a lot of the qualities that you recognize and love and admire in her, in you. And
that's awesome. Thank you, love.
I love you too.
Well, look what you've done with this show. I mean, this is a later in life project for you, right? That you have so much passion for, and you're looking at all these lives and saying, what do I value? And you're curious. I would definitely say that is us looking forward in the same direction.
Yeah. You're dancing on podcasting, but there's
looks different, but
no. I love that we have this. I love you. Thank you for coming on the show.
Love you too.
St. Peter, I am Dr. Ruth, and I made it okay for people to feel okay about their bodies and about sex as pleasure. I made it okay for us to talk and to explore dysfunction and to figure out how to love each other more. And ultimately, that is a mission around self-love. And that to me is what runs through the middle of the stream of life. And if I strengthened that stream and made a contribution as an unlikely spokesperson for that message, I hope for that you will let me in. All right, plugs for past shows. Alison, if people enjoyed this episode of Dr. Ruth on Famous and Gravy, what do you think they might like from the back catalog?
Yes. So my original thought was Shirley Temple.
Oh, okay. Wow. Deep in the archives.
So I really enjoyed Shirley Temple. I enjoyed that show quite a bit.
A lot of people did. That one had a lot of currency. It's a good episode.
Yeah. And she had a late in life change of career.
Yeah.
She got very involved in politics and activism. Yeah, a diplomat, and really grew and changed from what she had been originally. She had a hard childhood, very different hard childhood, and so I just saw a lot of similarities. And then, as luck would have it, I was reading an article where they mentioned that Dr. Ruth's favorite actress was Shirley Temple, and I was like, all right, there we go.
Perfect.
This is her. Yeah.
Okay, so that is episode 14, Dimpled Ambassador, Shirley Temple. All right. I thought about episode 20, Notorious Dissenter, Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Yes, of course. Another short Jewish lady.
Yes. But I decided to go with, because I just think it's a good episode and I'm really proud of it, the one we did on Betty Ford, Late Bloomer. I thought that, also surprising spokesperson for an important issue and hidden legacy from a period of time where some of these things get lost in the shuffle. So I wanted to bring about Betty Ford, Late Bloomer, episode 109. All right, here is a little preview for the next episode of Famous and Gravy. This person died 2012, age 48. She's responsible for the best-selling soundtrack of all time, a record that holds to this day. Famous and Gravy listeners, we love hearing from you. If you want to reach out with a comment, a question, or to participate in our opening quiz, email us at hello@famousandgravy.com. In our show notes, we include all kinds of links, including to our website and our social channels. Famous and Gravy is created by Amit Kapoor and me, Michael Osborne. Thank you so much to the beautiful Alison Osborne for co-hosting on this episode. It was produced by Jacob Weiss, original music by Kevin Strang. Thank you, and see you next time.